Hello everybody, welcome back to Advice. My name is Sam, and I want to give a little bit of car buying advice based on a few things I've seen online. I am in a few different car buying or car advice groups on Facebook, and I like to contribute when I know I can to what kind of vehicles you should look for, what to look for in each vehicle, and what vehicles to avoid entirely. There's only a couple I want to actually bring up today. First of which was I saw someone asking about if they should go with a 2023 Toyota Highlander Platinum. Now, like I've mentioned, I used to sell Toyotas, and that realistically might be one of the last truly great Toyotas, at least in my opinion. The Platinum is the highest trim you can get, so you've got every option. You've got the panel sunroof, you've got power heated seats, cool seats, you've got captain's chairs in the row even, and you can get all-wheel drive. But most importantly, you've got the naturally aspirated 2GR V6. Now this is the same engine that was in the Camry, it was in a ton of different cars across the board, it was used in Lexus models as well, and realistically, that is a car that will probably last you 300,000 miles. Any generation of Highlander before 2024 is going to have that V6, unless you are getting the hybrid in particular, so the V6 is a bit more durable, a bit more reliable. And it is, or at least up until recently was, Toyota's bread and butter. It was in everything from the Camry to the Lexus ES to the Lexus GS and the IS. You got it as an option in multiple vehicles across the board. It was in the Sienna as well, if I'm correct. And it's just a really good one. Next one I'd like to talk about, I saw someone asking about the 2025 Chevrolet Traverse. I think it was either a Traverse or an Equinox, but they were asking if that is a vehicle that is a good option to go with. Personally, and again, I worked for Chevy and GM very briefly. I know about current recall issues, anything like that. Get a 23 or older, actually, when it comes to that vehicle. The current generation of the Equinox, the Traverse, and anything that's on the same platform, which includes the Enclave, the Acadia, the Terrain, anything like that, they do actually currently have some serious transmission issues, and there is no remedy currently available for them. If you're dead set on getting a vehicle in that size or class, like I said, actually the Highlander is a great pick. Even the new one with the hybrid and the 4-cylinder turbo is a great option. Either that, a RAV4. Actually, a lot of Fords have been pretty reliable recently, including the Escape. And if you want something a little bit more rugged looking, the Bronco Sport, which is on the same chassis and the same engines and everything else as you can get in the Escapes. But I personally, in terms of GM in general, most of them I'd stray away. This actually leads into another vehicle that very recently got a recall notice. Now, Chevy, in particular from GM, has been riding high recently with the current generation Corvette, the C8. Everything from the looks on the base model, which is supposed to be in the 60,000 range, most of them are still above that, all the way to the ZR1X, which is realistically a hypercar at this point in time with over 1,000 horsepower on tap. Very, very easy for anyone to get into. For the money, it is the best power per pound you can do, considering it is, I think, $215,000 vehicle, and it is competing with cars that are nearly $1 million or above even. But as of a couple days ago, actually, they put out a recall notice on the Z06 and above. So the Z06 is the first one to go to the Ferrari design, I guess is what you'd call it, V8, which is similar to what they used to have in the 458 and the 458 Speciale. Those vehicles apparently have a current stock sale now, which is meaning that you realistically cannot sell them. Chevy dealers are not legally allowed to sell these cars since there is no repair for this new issue that they're having, which is they burst into flames. Unfortunately, the C8 Corvette's been plagued by issue after issue after issue, regardless of how impressive it is. Still a good car. Get the E-Ray if you want something that's going to throw you back into your seat, just because it's all-wheel drive and it's a hybrid with the V8 still. It's still actually faster off the line than the Z06. and it's not giving any of those issues where it bursts into flame. The last one I'd like to talk about right now, I saw someone asking if getting a 160,000 mile early S197 Mustang would be a good idea. No. For those of you that are not aware fully what generations of Mustangs there are, S197 was any Mustang from 05 to 2014. So up until 2010, or up until 11 technically, they used what is referred to as the 3-valve motor, which sounded incredible, still sounded like a muscle car. It's a mod motor, which is pretty much, you can buy it as a crate motor from Ford very easily. It's what a lot of people modify for racing. But they are known for a couple of reliability issues, but outside of that, they're known for very good durability. So they do have some, if I'm not mistaken, cam phaser issues, which a lot of Fords on and off tend to have. But the early 197s, which is what this person is asking about, are very, very reliable as long as you take care of them. Now, I say this when I worked at Stida, I had a coworker that had a 230,000 mile S197 Mustang that, realistically, it drove better than my 2014 Mustang did. It had a lot more done to it, full suspension, full body kit, more than I had done in an exhaust, full shift kit, everything like that, made into a Roush. But still, that naturally aspirated motor, even with a tune and some beefy upgrades to it, it was a very reliable car. If you're in the market for something that sounds good, looks good, and realistically you're not going to have to worry that much about it, early S197s are very, very good cars. I would trust buying one of those with 150,000 miles on it without worrying. If the price was right, I'd consider even a 200,000 mile one. If it's, $5,000, but it's been maintained perfectly by an enthusiast, which this one that was in question was because it had been tuned and it had been modified, as long as the records back it up, it's a very good car. Now, would I advocate for getting that if it's your first sports car? It depends, honestly. It is going to be the one that does give you that reputation of the Mustang. It is the solid axle Mustang, which, very communicative car, but very easy to not really control. If you know what you're doing, they're great. But with them getting as cheap as they are now, because realistically the earliest of 197s is 20 years old at this point, which is very weird to think about, it's a very easy to throw car into a turn, very easy to control if you know what you're doing, but a lot of people that buy it as a sports car, their first sports car, don't know what they're doing, and should realistically probably stick to something more like a BRZ or a FRS, which is 200 horsepower. And if you're doing that, avoid the 2013. That is all I really have for today's episode. If you guys like the video, let me know what kind of questions you would like me to answer. And until next time, stay safe and drive smart.